The Give It a Go Show! Welcome to the Give It a Go Show, where we give things a go and talk about it. I'm Prince.
And I'm Rivert.
And, well, we've made it past the very difficult step of a first episode, and now this means that we can do whatever the heck we want, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
We can let our hair out. We
can
the
just
first task.
go nuts.
Yes, which I didn't, by the way. I didn't go nuts with my thing this time.
No?
Well, I didn't really go nuts last time either, so that's very fair. First off, didn't mean for this to also be a Japanese thing. It just ended up that way. Also, technically, I did 2 things, or maybe 3 even.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of was a bucket list item. It's something I think that everyone should try at some point if it's within their means. So I tried sushi.
Oh, goodness. I only say
Yes.
that because I've done sushi before and it's not easy the first time.
Oh, yeah. See, that's partly the reason why I didn't do it until now. There's many reasons why. They're all stupid, but I'm gonna talk about it. So,
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, I tried sushi, and by extension, I also tried using chopsticks.
Okay.
So this has gotten more and more embarrassing over the years because I should have tried this a long time ago, but the older I got, the more embarrassing it's felt to give it a go because everybody's tried it by that point, and I was scared of being really bad at using chopsticks for one. So as a kid, I'd also just decided out of nowhere that I don't like sushi, even though I never tried it. I think I was that kind of kid who was very sort of new things, ooh, scary. So
Yeah.
somehow I convinced myself I wasn't gonna like it, and as an adult for years now, I've instead been convinced it's really good, but still never tried. So everyone's always like sushi, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, the
pretty good.
decadence. Yeah, even though I don't know what it's like, I'm just like, yeah, sushi. So yeah, when I was a kid, I was really just I would eat everything plain. I had hamburgers with nothing on them. I would just eat pasta, and that was it. Like, just macaronis with nothing, and that was my life. I was like, I don't want anything else than this. And then by chance, one time, I got a hamburger. I forgot to tell them I wanted it plain, and I bit into it, and I was like, food's delicious?
Oh, flavor.
Right? Flavor, wow.
Wow,
So,
what is this?
yeah, and then also I've heard a story from in regards to chopsticks, I heard a story from my brother where I think it might have been the first time that he tried to use chopsticks, and it was at work, I believe, with a coworker or something like that who was Asian, and so he kind of embarrassed himself in front of that person. He was trying his best, but he tells it kind of how he was this clumsy guy who was sitting right next to someone who knows exactly how to use them, and it just made me a little bit more scared, like, oh no, I'm gonna be so bad. So I never tried. I never got around to it. But before my food arrived, I tried to practice a little bit.
Yeah.
So I got out some popcorn that we hadn't eaten.
Okay.
And my girlfriend showed me, this is how you hold them. So it's like, this is where you tuck the first one in. This is how you move the other one. I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Because I never knew, like, oh, you just move the bub part. And then I tried it, and it was so goddamn easy.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of sympathize with you on that front because, it's only about a year or 2 ago that I learned, but, it's all right once you get used to it. I used to watch YouTube videos of how to hold chopsticks, so
I think because it would have gone more badly, so to speak, if I hadn't known where I was supposed to hold them and what I was supposed to do with them. If I just picked them up on my own, I would probably have been very clumsy, but when my girlfriend showed me, it was really just like, oh, this is how you do it, and then I did it, and I felt really sheepish about it, like, oh, so it was, for some reason, I thought it was one of those things that you pick up and you will never be good at unless you practice it.
Yes.
I didn't think you could just do it and do it good, like, right off the bat, and I felt so sheepish, like, oh, of course, like, when I picked up a fork, it wasn't that dang hard. I was clumsy as a child, but that was because I was a child.
Yeah, exactly.
As an adult, I have advanced fingy movements.
Dexterity, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Oh, yes, that's the pretty word for fingy movements.
Yes, fingy movements, yeah.
So, but I figured, okay, the sushi's heavier. It's gonna be more difficult. It wasn't. It was fine. I was a little clumsy, because it was new. But yes, my food arrived. I'd gotten a small assortment. So I tried salmon, avocado, shrimp, crab, and some maki rolls.
Okay.
And so I tried to take my time, had some soy, had some chili mayo, and my thoughts are essentially, well, it was delicious.
Okay, nice.
Yes, I mean, we didn't order it from like a fancy restaurant or anything, but it was still good. And I don't typically like fishy stuff that much.
No, I was gonna say, I know that you're quite similar to me in that sense.
Yes, so it's not this kind of thing where I'm gonna be, I really want sushi, I want more sushi. I'm probably not gonna... It's not my favorite go-to.
You wouldn't have it, like, all the time.
No, yeah. It's not my go-to food if I want to order something, but it's something that I would eat again for sure, and definitely try at a nicer place. Yeah, so I like the maki rolls best and the salmon, at least if I can, dip it in something.
Yeah, definitely.
I already don't like shrimp, but I tried it. Thoughts? Still don't like shrimp?
Fair. Yep. That's it.
I couldn't taste the crab a whole bunch, but I did dunk it completely in soy, so my fault, not theirs. And the third thing, they gave us miso. I tried miso. It was alright.
Yeah, I think I tried miso from a packet once, and I wasn't really my thing.
Yeah, I think I had let it get a little too cold.
Yeah.
It tasted good, but I wasn't like, oh, time to slurp this baby up.
Yeah.
It was more like, okay, I'd like to try this at a restaurant. So pretty much what I thought was gonna happen, part of me was still afraid that, I'm not gonna like it, but I kind of expected that it was gonna turn out like this, that I was going to like it, because I also see a lot of people who are very stubborn about food. I've seen people react to sushi, so to speak, like, oh, try sushi for the first time, and then they're so scared of it, and they just take it and they nibble on the side of some seaweed, and and then they're like, ew, I hate it, take it away. But as far as I know, you're supposed to put the whole thing in your mouth if it's a roll anyway.
Enjoy the full sushi sensation, I guess.
Exactly. Like if it's the roll, you put it in your mouth. If it's bigger, you like at least bite it in half. And you're supposed to dunk it in sauce and more things. And people nibble some seaweed off the side and then they think they don't like sushi. It just...
But I mean...
God.
Yeah, I mean, by comparison, you wouldn't eat a burger like that.
Yeah,
like, you have to eat the whole thing. That's why it's compiled the way that it's compiled.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't nibble off a little bit of the bread and, I hate burgers. No, you get the whole flavor experience. You're supposed to eat the whole thing together.
Yeah, that's why they do it like that.
Yes, that's why it's all together.
Otherwise, they would just give you deconstructed, sushi, burgers, whatever. But they don't.
You can't just hand someone a piece of seaweed and then they're like, I had sushi today.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was, I thought something funny was going to happen, that I was going to be very clumsy. The only thing that happened was that I couldn't pick the avocado back up again after it fell over.
It's very slippery.
Very slippery. It was also, okay, so I've tried, it was the first time I tried avocado as well.
Oh yeah, and what did you say, it was okay?
It was fine, yeah. I'd eat it again with something else to try. But...
I love avocado. I'm a proper millennial.
Yeah, right? I was like, I'm just a bootleg millennial. I haven't even had avocado. Everyone's so about that avocado. But yeah, the shrimp was not easy to... It's, the big one with the tail, and I'm just...
Oh, no thank... Well, no to any shrimp. I remember I went to a friend's... Well, they made us dinner, and they didn't do mine with shrimp because they know that I didn't like shrimp. Well, when I say I didn't like shrimp, I mean that I'd never had it, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, that feels like the white person's experience growing up.
100%, yeah. So they said to me, try some shrimp, and I was like, okay, fine. And I said to myself internally, don't make a weird noise. Anyway, I took a bite of the shrimp and I just went, ah! And yeah, it was quite embarrassing.
That's what you want to hear when you serve somebody food.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I said to myself, I was like, don't make a gross noise, but I did, so.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I couldn't help it.
I am kind of proud of myself because there are, I love trying new things now, but there are still little habits. I'm the kind of person who has the one thing that they eat at a restaurant, and because it's so good, I never eat anything else.
Yeah.
I never try anything else on the menu because I know this thing is good, so I will eat
Yes,
it. But
those bad surprises.
yeah, the fact that I knew I hated shrimp and I still put the whole thing in my mouth, I'm kind of like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
You did it. You took the plunge.
Yes, I did it for myself and for the podcast.
Yes.
I'm still sitting here kind of excited that I did it, even though it's not even that big of a deal, but I'd been meaning to try sushi for so long now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And chopsticks. I'd been meaning to. I actually used them the other day when I had noodles, and it was very difficult because noodles are not as easy to grab as popcorn.
No, they're not. But you gave it a go.
I did, and I'm very happy about it. The haiku thing was very sort of chill and calm, and after I had sushi, it was this Friday, I just wanted to get up and tell everybody about it already. I was like, I had sushi, everybody!
Because I know yesterday you were talking about how like you wanted to talk about it, but you couldn't obviously because we're talking about it now.
Yes,
but,
it's it's one of those things where it's like, oh, big whoop, you had sushi, but to me, I was like, I had sushi!
Yeah! Proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm very proud of myself. But yeah, that's what I did. So, what did you do? Big sigh.
Do I seem any calmer to you this morning?
No.
Because I'm not.
Okay, cool. I was like, oh, did you meditate? Am I supposed to say yes?
No. I did dog yoga.
Dog yoga?
Yes.
Doga?
Yes, Doga, as it's called. I did it with my miniature schnauzer, Misty, and it was a disaster. I did it this morning because I wanted to see kind of how I felt coming into the podcast after doing it. And it was a mess. I did one particular video on YouTube first where there was a lady with her two dogs. It was a lot more relaxed. The dogs were like everywhere, squeaking their toys, just being dogs. And yeah, she never sat down. She was running around, squeaking her toys. She was very interested in the sound of the dogs in the video squeaking theirs. So that was cool.
Look, I've got one too.
Yeah, she was like, oh wow, they've got one. I'll squeak mine. I was like, please don't.
My thought immediately when you explain this is because, okay, I haven't met your dog, but I've heard a lot about your dog.
You've heard my dog. Yeah.
I've heard your dog.
Yes.
She does not give off the impression that she is, has any mindfulness of
No, she doesn't.
No calmness when it comes to that.
Yeah, she's about 1.25 years old, and she's not the calmest dog. She's not the most hyperactive dog, but Doga is not for her. So there was one point where we were doing what's called the corpse pose. So you're just lying flat on your back. You're just relaxing, letting it all out, and she shoved her snoot right in my ear. She was licking my ear. It was disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, it wasn't particularly successful, I have to say. I tried to get her to sit down next to me whilst we practiced gratitude, which is not something that she's very good at, as you can tell from when I've spoken to you before, and she slaps her food bowl about despite having just eaten.
Maybe she thought that you were really a corpse and she was trying to resuscitate you.
She has done that before. We've tried to train her a little bit in that kind of thing because of like when I have fits, which is quite rare, but I was trying to kind of let her know that I was not having a fit and that I was okay, but I don't think she believed me. She liked the massage part where we had to massage the dog, let sort out their chakras or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, she liked the massage part, but that was about it, really. She gave me a bit of a battering. I did try to record the audio, but she kept sitting on my phone, so it didn't go very well. I didn't want to put it too close to the iPad because I didn't want it to pick up the video audio. But so yeah, she just sat on it. So, would I do it again? No. Would I do yoga? I would do yoga. I wouldn't do Doga. So
Right.
It was not something I'd do again.
Okay, yeah, that kind of sounds like a very cautious thing to try. You never know if it's going to... If it would have ended up good, it probably would have been a really adorable experience.
Yes.
But if it's not, it's just pure chaos.
Oh, it is. It really is. I was trying to do the yoga around her.
I'm glad when you recorded the soap audio, your mom didn't sit on your phone.
So am I. I'd have been a bit worried considering the phone was on the countertop as well, but
Or put her nose in your ear.
Oh no. It's like I said, we initially planned to do Canicross, but obviously it's just been way too hot here at the moment and I don't want to put her through that, so I thought, yeah, let's try some Doga, and never again. Never again.
Well, if you guys want to try some Doga, do it, and then tell us how awful it was.
Yes, I do have a little bit of information on Doga, so I guess how did it come about? It's very impressive when you can watch people whose dogs actually cooperate.
I mean, there's goat yoga.
I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, where they just shit on you, and they call it blessings.
I think I'd rather try Doga again.
Oh, you received some blessings. She blessed you.
Oh, she blessed me by shoving her nose in my ear.
Yeah.
Preferable to goat shit, so. So apparently it started in America in 2003. I mean, I kind of expected it to have started in America. You know, it's one of those things. Came to Britain a year later, and it spread around the Western world by 2011, apparently. Doga teachers have noted the seemingly enlightened nature of dogs and the benefits of exercise, bonding and enjoyment that the activity can bring. My favourite quote was William Baloney claimed that... That's his name. So apparently, kind of the way it took off was there was a book that was released in 2003 called Doga, Yoga for Dogs, by Jennifer Brilliant and William Baloney. They claimed that,
good names.
Yes, they claim that doggies, that's I presume the people who are leading the Doga, never try to impress. They practice Doga with effortlessness. I can't say that word.
Effortlessness.
Effortlessness.
Yeah, the more nesses, the more effort.
Oh, goodness. And compassion, self-aware, but never self-conscious. I can't say the same thing about Misty. No, I'm not doing it again. If your dog's a bit more chill, if your dog loves a good pat, then cool, go for it. But I wouldn't do it again with my dog, personally.
Yes, it's like that video with the collie that followed that person's movements perfectly and did the leg lifts and the downward dog, and it was very cute. If you have a dog like that, then go ahead. No, you know what? No matter what dog you have, try it, and if it's awful,
give it a go.
We want to hear about it.
Yes, please. I'd love to hear about it.
Well, I wasn't smart enough to make my old new thing match with whatever I did, so I just picked anything that I could think of that I've done in the past, and one thing that I used to do was I played the ocarina.
I think you briefly told me about this.
Yeah, I still have it somewhere in its little case. So, I mean, I've always loved the ocarina for video game related reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Ocarina of Time and so on. And I've also tried many times to pick up an instrument, but have given up when I couldn't be arsed to learn how to read music or even find out what thing does what. But then someone I was friends with at the time brought their ocarina and started playing it, and I thought, hey, that looks a lot simpler than all those other instruments, which is a very naive way to think about any instrument.
Yep.
They're all hard. They all require effort. But what charmed me about the ocarina was when I looked up songs to practice, they would mostly just show how to play these songs through charts that show you visually where to place your fingers. So not like not like sheet music or anything, like which holes to cover. And as someone who kind of learns very differently from how a lot of other people do, this helped me because I learn a lot easier through something being shown to me in image form.
Yeah.
So it looked kind of simple to learn. So I looked up a ton of songs, mostly from movies and video games, and I practiced them over and over. It was probably very annoying to my neighbors. I did start to learn a few of them by heart, and it sounded mostly okay to me. Maybe not to them. This was when I learned that the ocarina, while it gave me an easier way for me to learn, it was not, in fact, a shortcut to learning to play an instrument.
No.
No. Turns out you still need to put in the work and time. Oops.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's the trouble.
Yeah.
Oh.
And sadly,
but you gave it a go.
Yes. Sadly, I did end up giving it up just like I did with violin and guitar. But first of all, maybe I haven't found the instrument, that's for me. Sometimes you try a bunch and you don't have the patience for them, but then you find the one,
Yeah.
And I do have other ones that I want to try try at some point, because
Yeah.
I'm not totally giving up music. I think I just, I didn't have enough drive, and I felt lost because it's really confusing to learn by myself rather than having someone teach me.
Yeah.
I remember in music class in school, I was always very involved in doing everything, and people would show me how to do it, so it was better. But I mean, I had a lot of fun during the times I played, and I brought it to cons with me. I would sit on the floor and practice my Legend of Zelda songs, and people would recognize them, and it was a good time.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's just like kind of practicing for myself, and then people ended up recognizing the song. I still wasn't by any means good at it. I was very slow at it. I had slow pacing, but it still made people smile. So I think my favorite songs I played ended up being, some Zelda songs, like I said. But then, weirdly, specifically, We Are One from Lion King 2.
Okay, yep, that is quite specific.
And the Misty Mountains from The Hobbit. Yeah, We Are One was probably the only one I actually played semi-accurately, so I would play that one every time I picked up my ocarina. Probably made someone wanna, if they had The Lion King 2 on DVD or VHS, they probably would have wanted to burn it after hearing me play it over and over and over. But it had a nice melody and was easy to play, so it became my go-to song. But it's I wanted to get the Ocarina of Time ocarina, but I didn't, so I got a different one because I didn't want to seem too nerdy when I sat and played nerd songs.
Well, nothing wrong with a good nerd song.
Yeah, honestly. And I really want to try like a keyboard or something like that. I never, at first I was like, no, I can't do that because I got stubby fingers. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You can still play a keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you've got tiny fingers. It's not a requirement.
I mean, I've got a MIDI keyboard and I've got tiny fingers, but I don't know how to play it properly. I just use it for production-y bits. So
yeah, but then even when you learn to play it, it's not as if you're gonna be like, oh, it's too bad I learned how to play this keyboard because I have short fingers, so it's impossible.
Exactly.
Like, no, that's not how it works.
No, exactly.
But that's what I thought. So I was like, oh, I really want to learn the piano, because we had a piano at my house when I was a kid, and I would plink plonk on it every once in a while. I would play Pop Goes the Weasel every time I saw it, and my parents hated it. But yeah, I'd always wanted to, but I didn't. So maybe I'll try instruments again. The ocarina was the one that I at least managed to learn some stuff on before I gave up, which, like, guitar, I gave up almost immediately. I just gave up the second a string broke because I was too scared of fastening a new one, because I didn't want it to break while I did it, because it was very scary when it happened. It was a metal string. So I was like, what if it snaps again? I didn't dare to do it. So my journey with instruments has been weird, but maybe I'll give it a go again.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Talk about it then.
Yeah, maybe you should find another obscure instrument to try.
I mean, I have tried. I think it's... I think a lot of people actually, sometime in their life, purchase an automaton.
I actually don't know what that is.
It is shaped like a music note. It's this little, it's got a face and a mouth.
Okay.
And you squish the mouth and play the long part of the music note, so to speak. You play that and you move its mouth so it kind of wah-wahs. It's like, me. It's very stupid. Many people have made funny covers of existing songs with automatones, and it's really,
check that out.
It's a stupid fucking instrument. I had one, but it didn't work properly, so it would just wah-wah when I didn't want it to wah-wah.
Don't want that.
Exactly. You don't want
too many wah-wahs.
A rogue wah-wah.
No.
So I had an automaton. I'm glad I was reminded of it when you said obscure instrument, because I'd forgotten about it. But yes, I had an automaton, and I tried to play it for the novelty, and then it got a life of its own, and I became very scared of it and never used it again.
That sounds fair.
So,
One instrument that I've always been quite interested in is the, I think it's called a handpan. It's like a big drum, but it's hard to describe. It kind of looks like a spaceship with indents in it, and it makes some beautiful noises. You can play some really beautiful tunes on it, but they're like very expensive. Like super expensive, which is a shame.
I really would love to try the shamisen or something, but considering my experience with strings, it's probably not a good idea. Also, I'm probably gonna sound like I'm just a freaking Japanese nerd with all the things that I've been talking about. It's just a coincidence, I promise.
Let's be fair, we're both weebs.
Oh, we're both weebs, yeah. But I don't want to be like, oh, this thing's from Japan, so it's automatically good. Like, no, the shamisen's just beautiful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, well. What story did you bring today?
I actually brought... So it's not so much a funny story. I think it's a nice story.
Is it a cautionary tale?
No. No, it's... I feel like it's quite uplifting. It's relevant to dogs in connection with my doga, but it's to do with my last dog, Mr. Milo, or Sir Melis, as I call him.
Son Melis.
Son Melis, Sir Melis. So, a bit of background on Milo. So, he was a 12-year-old rescue Akita. We got him a few years ago now. He was in with the Akita Rescue and Welfare, which my parents-in-law used to do a lot with. They had 2 rescue Akitas. I say had, they still have them. They contacted us and they said, well, we know you want a dog. Would you be interested in fostering this old man? His name is Milo. He's very gentle. We think he's going to die in kennels in the next few weeks and we don't want that for him. We'd like him to be in a home. He stayed with us for 2 years. So not quite the 6 weeks, 6 months they were talking about. Loved him to pieces. He was our first dog that was like ours. And so the story is, one day we took him to an event in Cheltenham called Paws in the Park, where he was the ambassador for the Akita Rescue.
Oh.
And they had pictures of him before he came to us. So he had, with all his sores and missing fur and wasted legs. So we had him there as kind of a comparison to say, look at the work we do, look how healthy and great he's doing. And he was very well behaved, so a good ambassador. At the event, they had a little sort of fun dog show. I'd never done a dog show. So I said, well, why don't we enter Milo? 12-year-old big boy. So we entered him into 2 categories, Golden Oldie and Best Rescue. In Golden Oldie, he got highly commended, which is, I think, when they don't really get a placement, but, it was a fun dog show. We weren't too fast. He got a little rosette.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he did Best Rescue, where he got 2nd place, which was just right for us, because if he'd have gotten 1st place, we'd have had to have gone through to the next round, and we couldn't be bothered at that stage. We wanted to go home. So
no, we want to go home.
Yeah, we were like, 2nd place is the best place that we can get without having to stay any longer. So, he got 2nd place.
He's old, he's an app.
Yes, so, and then the Akita Rescue sort of posted about it, and it was really lovely, because it was just kind of proof that an old rescue dog can still do well. And a few months prior, he'd been walking on the streets eating rubbish out of bins, and then he was winning little rosettes. Aww. And it was really wholesome. I still have his rosette, and I keep them next to his ashes, bless him. There was such a lovely day. I'll have to post a picture from when he got them. It was really cute.
That's so sweet.
It was really sweet.
I've only ever heard stories of him leaving giant elephant shits and eating things he weren't supposed to and escaping.
Yeah, we
so
have
this
a lot
was
of
very
Milo
wholesome
stories
to hear about.
Yeah, there was a lot of really lovely things that happened with him, but when he was naughty, those are the funniest stories.
Oh God! When I first saw a picture of him, I was just like, "What kind of horse is that?" He was
that's
humongous, just a chungabungus.
Yeah, he was 55 kilos when he passed away, which is the same weight as my husband.
Oh
so he was very tall.
Holy
it didn't
shit.
matter. I know, he was huge. It wouldn't matter if we put food at the back of the counters because he was super tall. He would just reach over, stretch out his long neck and take it and run off. So
oh my God.
He was a very big boy, but we were very proud of him that day. And, he did some good work for the rescue by representing them and sort of being like, hey, old rescue dogs can still do well.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
And I mean, at least even if he was a menace sometimes, he was, he was enjoying life.
Oh yeah, he was old. He deserved it.
Yeah. I mean,
he was having a bit of fun in his old age.
Maybe he deserved a little bit of that food he wasn't supposed to.
Yes, like the chocolate brioche pan.
Oh
which
God. That's not... That's an
No.
exception.
Yes, well, there was a couple of times where he stole some chocolate, but luckily he was okay.
Because he was huge,
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I guess, yeah, it was partially to do with the fact that he was human-sized.
Yeah.
He
He's
shouldn't
like,
have eaten it anyway, but...
I'll eat some poison. I don't care. Feel the
know.
snake bite enter my veins.
I panicked when I saw the empty chocolate wrapper when I got home. I was
Oh
like,
my
oh
God.
no, is he gonna be okay? We
He's-
kept an eye on him and he was fine, so...
Yeah, it's just like, whatever. Get some mild diarrhea. It's like,
Yeah.
it's basically like lactose intolerant people. They were like, I know I can't have this, but who
Yeah.
the fuck's gonna stop me?
Oh, exactly. But,
Not me.
Well, I mean, yeah. Luckily, he was fine, but please don't feed your dogs chocolate. I wouldn't feed my
No.
current dog chocolate.
Don't, in fact, do that. And if you've seen them eating chocolate, keep an eye on them.
Yes, and if they start being ill, take them to the vets immediately.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
I mean,
you should
that's
probably
the...
take them precautionary,
It's like
really. But,
it's like the it's like a balance scale. Like Misty can't get the chocolate because she's too short, but if she
Yes.
had it, she would probably be
It
very.
would not be good,
It would
no.
be very bad for her. But Milo,
Yes.
he could reach them, but it
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
affect him because he was too big. So it's a very
Yeah.
nice balance.
I mean, it probably affected him, but not badly enough for us to have to
Oh,
take
yeah.
him to the vets, luckily.
Yeah, and of course, because since he was a dog, he probably would have been like, that made me sick. Delicious though. Can I have some more,
Yeah.
please?
I mean, not long after, he stole some toffee sauce out of the fridge, which I'd homemade with a friend, and...
It's like drugs to him. He's like,
Well,
I know
yeah.
this is bad for me, but I have to have some more.
Well, he was eating a sponge that was covered in the toffee sauce out of the
Oh my
bin.
God.
And our next door neighbour yelled for my husband, and she was like, Toby, Milo's eating a sponge. And so he ran out and he had to try and wedge it out of his mouth. Took a while for him to allow it.
I mean, listen, one of my cats likes to eat plastic.
Oh no.
But most of all, he likes to eat things that come in long strings.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, his cats do.
several meters long.
Yeah.
And he will just keep swallowing it. And when I find
no.
him, I have to unspool it from his throat. I have to pull it out of him, and it's disgusting.
Yeah,
And,
Misty's eaten things like that before. We've had to do the same thing. Oh,
Yeah.
Misty's always making heaving noises for some reason.
Oh.
She hasn't eaten anything she shouldn't. I
just
think she does
angry
it
at
for
life.
attention sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, when my husband used to do customer service from home, she would just walk in behind him whilst he was on the phone and just go really loudly in the background, and then he'd get
I'm
off to check if
dying.
she was okay. Yeah, she'd get off to check
me.
he'd get off to check if she was okay, and she would just be fine.
Oh yeah, God, it's like when babies fall over and they're like,
yeah.
and then they're like, hello,
Oh
hello?
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, we've tried some new media this time as well, as always.
Yeah.
And last time I had a pretty bad time, and I'm sure that I'm gonna get crucified for it because apparently everybody loves Gex. But
Okay.
this time I played something that I figured I was going to like, and it's something that I've been meaning to play for a long time because I've played pretty much every Final Fantasy game except this one. So I played, and you know this because you saw me do it. It's Final Fantasy V, which I did play for like 10 seconds once, but I don't count that. So I haven't beaten it because it's an RPG and they're like 40 hours, but I played for a bit. It's about a young man named Bartz.
Bots, okay.
Yes, with a Z. It's
Very cool.
It's also been translated as butts with a Z.
Interesting.
Yes, which is, I think, it's the far superior translation, and they should have kept
Absolutely,
that. So
absolutely.
I played it's a remastered version that looks shittier than the original. The
no.
character portraits are beautiful because it's
Yeah.
from Yoshitaka Amano, but they don't match the character sprites. Like Bart's has white hair on the concept art, and then he has brown hair, and a lady has pink hair, but then she actually also has white. It's
Very
it's
consistent.
Very consistent. But anyway, Bartz or Butts, he travels the world with his chocobo friend. So for those who don't know, chocobo are ostrich-sized birds, yellow, fluffy, cute, rideable, and it was his father's dying wish that he would travel the world. So when he travels, he finds a princess named Lena and an old amnesiac man named Galoof, which to me sounds a bit like a sneeze.
Yep.
So after a meteorite crashes nearby, he finds them, and they are heading towards the Wind Shrine. Lena's trying to find her father, who went there to find out why the wind appeared to have stopped, something like that. So they think something has happened to the wind crystal in the shrine. Very basic Final Fantasy stuff. Also, it's kind of the nostalgia effect. We're like, oh, these crystals hold the elements in harmony and stuff like that. They also meet a pirate captain on the way named Ferris, who I've talked about because everybody thought the Ferris was a man, and that his pirate crew all had a crush on him, but then it turns out it's a lady, which is fine, but it would have been fun if we had this gorgeous male pirate captain whose crew all had crushes on him. But yeah, she's awesome. So as it turns out, as is also typical of especially earlier Final Fantasy games, these 4 are the Warriors of Light, so basically the chosen ones. Chosen by the crystals. Woohoo.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, never heard that before. Well, maybe back then it was...
no one cared back then.
Yeah, no one gave a shit back then. That was just like... The first game was just like, you are the
formula.
You are the Warriors of Light. Is there a story? I don't know. Go do stuff. So as they come together, they become chosen by these crystals to bring balance back to the world. So it's kind of like the first game where you get to choose jobs for your characters. So the further you get more jobs. Like you can be a black mage or a red mage, or you can be a monk or a warrior. So you get more of those the further you get, and you can choose whatever you want for whichever character. So you don't have to get the stereotypical, oh, the girl is the white mage who heals because she's a girl. No, you can make her a warrior princess if you want. Yes. I made the old man the healer because he looked good in the robes.
There's no other reason needed.
Yeah, it's really funny because Ferris, the pirate captain, Paris, the pirate captain.
The pirate captain, yep.
So before you find out that she's a lady, you can still choose several jobs for her where you just see massive knockers.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, before it's even been revealed, it's just like, okay, what class do I pick for Ferris? And then it's just like all of them have massive boobas. So it's like, okay, well, I know there are men with massive boobas, but in games you kind of don't expect them to do that. So I was like, okay, it's a girl then.
Especially older games.
Yeah, you don't expect him to be really forward thinking, like, no, but this guy, he just has really big boobs. Like, no, this was in 19 whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't bother to look it up. 1990 something maybe. So yeah, I like it. It's similar to games, new and old, has a nostalgia factor. Fantasy world, it's got dragons and magic and pirates and other cool stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, it's not like amazing for now. It's got its own more developed story along with the crystal thing and the Warriors of Light thing. Like it's similar there, but they've injected more personality and agency in the characters than previous ones. So it's kind of like an updated version of the old games. So yeah, I like it. I will probably keep playing it. I have been actually, but I just wish this remaster didn't look like baby's first indie game.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Like when a remaster either doesn't look much better or doesn't look better.
Yeah, and it's very inconsistent.
Yeah,
like we noticed, and a lot of the assets look like the kind of assets that you would see in a game where nobody made their own assets. Like it would be the library assets. Something. That's how they look. They look very generic and sort of, we didn't make this kind of deal. I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toe saying that. I think it's kind of a general consensus that it looks kind of like shit. Also, it was notoriously difficult to run. It kept crashing, and Square Enix doesn't give a shit. So I had to keep finding fixes for things.
I did see your Steam keep popping up.
Yeah, so I was like, this is probably gonna be very visible that I'm struggling with this, but it was finally playable. For some reason, the controller would not act like a controller, and so on, but I did make it work. At first, I was like, this is very annoying to play, so I don't know if I'm enjoying it, but I am now that I can actually play it like it's supposed to be played. Yeah, so had a much nicer time this time. I just like plot games, you know. I like to have a good plot, some personality.
Rivet's News Corner.
Welcome to Rivet's News Corner. So, today we've got an interesting story. This one I got from the Huffington Post. It's about how a whole bunch of bears crashed a high school pool party.
Oh, wow. Like animal bears, right? Not...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I was about to say physical bears.
Physical bears? Yeah, the gay community bears, they're incorporeal.
They're just crashing all those pool parties.
The bear ghosts.
Oh no. Yeah. So, there are some great pictures here. They're like wrestling next to the pool. But I'll read the story. A high school pool party in Tennessee last weekend got a lot wilder after a crew of black bears showed up. So yeah, 7 bears, quite a few. They were in the pool, they were just chilling, they were strolling across the tennis court, and at one point, 2 of them engage in a bit of roughhousing. They're just out there having a good time. There's some great videos here. They're having a little tussle. I think that's delightful for them.
Did they give them any pool noodles to fight with, at least?
No, why wouldn't
Come on, guys.
Exactly. The bears have come, they've arrived, they've come to your party to celebrate with you, and you give them nothing.
Yeah,
Everyone's
7
just...
whole bears.
Exactly. It looks like everyone's just, like, run off.
That's one bear left without a roughhousing partner. That's an odd number.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he's gonna not have anyone to roughhouse with.
Maybe one of the bears wasn't well that day,
Oh, yeah.
so he couldn't come to the party. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he had the Rona.
Oh no.
Don't want to roughhouse with the Rona. No.
No, absolutely not. So, was at the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps swim party, and 7 bears, they just came in. They were just chilling. They're just swimming around, having a good time, having a tussle, as you do.
Aww.
I think that's delightful, personally.
party now.
Yeah. I've always had such mixed opinions on bears. I think they're lovely, but I wouldn't want to get too close to one.
It's okay. All you have to know is that when you see a bear, you just have to tell it not to break your kayak.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I love that video.
Yes.
Did I...
And please, bear, don't break my kayak.
Please, bear. Please,
Please,
don't.
bear.
Please. You're meant to be
supposed to be
hibernating.
asleep.
That's it. Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the story of a bear in Canada who was drowning a man, and
What?
he pulled the man up for like a second, and the man went, "No, you don't have to do this," and then the bear just left.
Oh, he was like, I don't? Oh,
He
cool.
was like, "Oh, yeah, cool. Sorry about that, mate."
Yeah. Oh, I don't. I thought I had to for some reason.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, thank God, I was told that I had to. I really didn't want to
assassin
do
bear."
this." Yeah, I didn't want to do it. Okay, thanks for telling me. I'm sorry. Just get on with your day. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Carry
So
on.
apparently, bears are often drawn to pools. Apparently, that's a thing.
I feel like we as a world are attracted to pools,
Do love a
except
good
for
pool.
dogs, maybe.
Certain dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And certain cats.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Apparently in 2018, a bear went viral after stealing a man's margarita, chilling in his unheated jacuzzi, and then he just took a nap. I think that's lovely for him.
Why was the jacuzzi unheated?
Yeah, if you know he's coming,
Yeah.
get it ready.
Yeah,
It's
right?
common
Come
sense,
on.
common courtesy.
He just wants to relax with a bit of margarita. He's had a rough day out in the forest eating berries.
Yeah, you've been out working hard all day. He wants
Yeah.
to just come home and chill in his heated jacuzzi.
Who puts the bread on the table?
Yeah. Exactly.
This bear.
That's the thing. He's just chilling. There's loads of lovely bear-related stories in the related section on this article.
Oh,
So,
wow.
well, there's the picture of the bear chilling in the unheated jacuzzi. There's the bear who tried to steal a car. I've seen that video. It's great. I really love it. And glamorous bear watches sunrise from hotel veranda. So...
Oh, lovely.
they're just getting about, just chilling, just leave them be.
They're
you
just
know?
basically humans at this point. Just integrate them into society.
Yeah, but don't get too close.
Yeah, they might drown you.
I have never seen a real bear, I don't think.
I have.
Oh, yeah,
It was awful. It was scary. They're big.
Yeah, they look pretty big. Because, I mean, here in the UK, we don't really have much in terms of dangerous animals. So that's not something that I have to worry about.
Yeah, the only dangerous animals you have to worry about are the lads.
Oh, the lads, or as my
Yeah.
mum calls them, the homies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
homies,
the homies, yeah.
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
The homies. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah. The youths, I guess, is what she was trying to say.
the
But
youths.
homies was just the word that came out. Bless her.
Well, now, if you watch Tattoo Fixers, instead of people saying, I went on a lad's holiday, they can
Yeah.
just be like, I went on a homie day.
Homie holiday.
Yeah,
Homie
yeah.
holiday. Holiday with the lads.
I hate it.
To be fair, if I were there and a bear came in, I would shit myself.
To
I
be
would.
fair, if you were there, a bear.
To be yeah. Nope, I would absolutely shit myself. But yeah, that's Rivet's God's sake.
That's how. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna. I'm just gonna end it at your. I know you watched something this time.
Yeah.
You sound tired.
So, you had a bad time last week. I had a bad time this week.
We're switching it off. Ooh.
Yes. So, as we discussed, as part of the media segment, part of it is watching things that everyone else loves that we haven't necessarily tried. So, I decided to try watching Friends.
Oh my gosh.
I have never watched an episode of Friends in my life. Well, until now. My granddad used to love it, God bless him. But he did also used to love The Big Bang Theory, so, I mean, questionable taste in sitcoms. It was interesting. A lot of the jokes haven't aged well. I was going to watch 10 episodes, but I decided to pity myself. I
decided
watched
to
5.
love yourself, is what you did.
Yes, well, I only watched 5, so I wouldn't say I love myself, but... It wasn't as bad as I expected, to be fair, but it wasn't good. In my opinion, of course.
Yes.
It's obviously just not my kind of humor.
It has moments of maybe a good joke or something like that. But it's not, as a whole, it's not really that great.
Well, no, I think bottom line is that no, it's just not really my kind of humor, but it was okay. You know, I could like leave it on in the background whilst I was painting or working on something. So it wasn't like I couldn't watch it at all. It was all right.
Oh, yeah. When I was a young man, when it was new, I guess, when it was still going, it was on TV a lot here.
Yes.
So I've seen it since I was very small, and I used to like it because the jokes haven't aged well, but back then, I guess they were funny to me.
Yes.
But now, today, I would not suffer through Friends.
No, not
ever.
Intentionally.
Not intentionally, no.
Yeah, because it's one of those shows that I've heard people raving about for years. Even now, people are like, I want to watch Friends again. I love Friends.
I think if they did sit down and watch it, they would kind of have their nostalgia crushed a little bit.
Yes, I think the majority of the hype is nostalgia.
Absolutely,
which I don't
because
have for
I
it.
saw the sort of advert for the Friends reunion thing, and I got emotional because I'd seen so many episodes. Yeah. But then afterwards, I was like, why am I getting emotional? I don't like Friends, but I used to. So you know, there's that. So people did like it genuinely, but I think if they did sit down and watch it again, they'd be like, oh no.
Possibly. I mean, yeah. I know there are people who are still binge watching it. I mean, what was it Netflix paid to keep it on there? Was it like $110 million or something ridiculous?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So, yeah, obviously there's people out there who are still enjoying it, but I won't be one of them.
Yeah.
True, I can't say I'll be putting myself through any more of it.
There are things that I like that I think is bad. Things that are like, I don't know, comfort things or just stuff that's still enjoyable even
Guilty pleasures.
Yes, exactly. So I kind of get it, but at the same time I'm like, out of everything that exists in this world, why this?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you like Friends, then cool. Yes. It's just not my thing.
We will not crucify you if you like Friends.
No, of course not.
But you are just like the guy who didn't like crinkle cuts.
Oh,
you are entitled to your wrong opinion.
Yes. No, not my thing. It's just not my kind of humor. It was all right on in the background. It did kind of remind me of, you know, there was a certain time period with sitcoms where they have a certain vibe, and it kind of reminded me of some of the ones that would just be on when I got home from school because my parents used to watch them. So like Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, etc.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those too.
Oh, we used to love Everybody Loves Raymond as a family.
I was always extremely uncomfortable with it because I won't say who, but there was a character there who reminded me of someone in real life too much, and it was not funny because it was too real.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it as a family. I don't know how that's aged.
Sitcoms back then had a lot of the, you know, oh, I hate my wife, the old ball and chain, and like that kind of stuff, which is
an old trope.
A joke I hope that millennials can keep killing as much as possible.
Yep.
But also, Friends especially did this thing where they wouldn't even make a joke. They would just randomly say something or do something and then put a laugh track on it it. And
Yes,
I know
I noticed
everyone,
that.
yeah, like I know everyone put laugh tracks on everything that wasn't funny as well. But Friends especially had this thing where they would just, it was so random. They would just say a random word and they're like, ah, ha, 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 ha. It's like,
Yeah.
what happened there? That wasn't a joke.
I noticed that. So, for example, in I think it was the first episode, I don't know if I just didn't get the joke or whether there just wasn't a joke, but there was a part where I think it's Chandler. He's talking about how the phone was there and then it rang and it was his mom and there was just this laugh track and I thought, what's the joke?
I will say most of the time when that happens, there is no joke. A lot of times it will just be someone opening a door and then people looking at the person who opened the door and then a laugh track plays and I'm like, is this supposed to be an awkward moment or what? They just came inside and now you're looking at them funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
I was like, I don't know if I just don't get it or whether there is no joke.
I think this was kind of one of the times when they would play around with the laugh track a lot just to make people laugh because people will laugh when others laugh.
Yes.
So I got tricked into laughing many times at that point when I was little, especially if I wanted to seem cool. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I got the
like,
joke.
yeah,
It's so funny. Now it's just like, no, I'd rather laugh at funny things.
Yeah. I watched the first episode with my husband and then he didn't want to watch anymore. So I put myself through the next 4 episodes, cut myself off from doing 10.
Can you believe what she did for you for this podcast, for the world?
Yeah. I suffered.
5 episodes of Friends in 2021.
It was going to be 10, but I said no. I love myself.
Yeah, love yourself. If someone's been raving about something and you're like, I really don't want to watch this, actually. I could not be paid to watch this. Don't give it a go.
No.
Listen to your intuition, your gut feeling.
Like I said, good points. There was the odd joke I actually still found funny.
Oh, yeah.
It did give me that kind of nostalgic vibe, but I'd never watched the show itself, so I didn't get much nostalgia for Friends, of course.
Yeah.
It was alright to have on the background. I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, it's rough. I watched so many sitcoms back then. I think it was part of the thing that taught me English in the first place because we don't have a lot of Swedish shows like that. We have a lot of reality shows and things like that. We don't have sitcoms really. It's a very American thing and
definitely
that's what we got. So we would get those same shows and I would watch those because my parents would watch those and you know, I was the youngest. I didn't get to choose what to watch on TV, and if I did, it was Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah, same. I mean, my parents were always more into American TV shows, so I guess we just kind of ended up watching more sitcoms by default. I mean, British humor, there are some absolutely fantastic shows out there. So,
yes.
Yeah, you know, we watched a few of those, but it was more or less sitcoms and things, but it was more just because it was on in the background. It wasn't that we consciously chosen to watch it.
It would be the kind of thing that if I wasn't doing something else at the same time, I would still just sort of be lounging in the couch and half paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a nice thing to grow up with. It was a nice thing to have in the background, and it taught me more conversational English. Yeah. Because I learned a lot of my English from video games, but they weren't voiced back then, so I would just read it incorrectly, and then my brother would correct me. And so they were really useful in a sense for me. And sometimes it was a kind of thing where the whole family would just sit down and watch and everyone would have a good time. So they delivered in their own way back then.
Yeah, it was more sort of, I guess, passive watching. There wasn't many people who would sit there and be like, I'm gonna sit and watch this now. I'm gonna be focused. I'm gonna be really into it. It's so
difficult to do passive watching today.
Oh yeah, it really is.
I put things on while I work and maybe I'll watch something while I'm having lunch, but I'll watch half an episode of something and then go back to work.
Yeah.
And then watch the next half the next day at lunch. So, like, there's just no time, it feels like. If you have the time after work, you want to spend it on something you enjoy, or if you want to focus on something, it's not going to be like Friends.
Oh, no. When I'm working, I can only usually watch a reality show or a sitcom because I don't have to focus on it completely. It can just be on. I don't have to think about it. I don't care what happens. So...
Yeah, you don't have any agency in it.
No, absolutely not. So that's nice.
Friends.
Oh, yeah. Great. I loved it.
Great time. Maybe I should suffer the next time, too. We just need to go back and forth. To cleanse the palate and to make us all feel better. Again, best part of the podcast.
Absolutely.
You can forget about all that other stuff that we just said because now, all of it. Now you're gonna have to, we're gonna inject this straight into your mind brains, okay?
Your mind brains?
Yes, as opposed to your butt brains and your foot brains. So I asked River to bring a fictional character she thinks is cool, attractive, or just awesome, or whatever. So which one did you bring this time?
Okay, the one I've picked ticks all 3 boxes. I have brought to the table today Low-Poly Hagrid from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for PS1.
I love specifically low-poly Hagrid.
Low-Poly Hagrid. You say that there is a superior Hagrid. There's not.
Everybody Google low-poly Hagrid. You will understand.
My husband was playing this game, I think it was last week, and he called me in specifically to see low-poly Hagrid.
He is just a pile of goodness.
It really is. My husband was like, come have a look, low-poly Hagrid's coming on. And so, of course, I ran in, and it was beautiful.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so the one I brought in, this isn't a joke. I think he's hot. Mine is Ganondorf from the Zelda series. And
I don't know who that is.
Well, I'm going to tell you who that is.
For the record, for the listeners, I have never played a Legend of Zelda game.
So he is the villain in almost every game.
Right.
So there's essentially a curse that was placed on the hero by a god named Demise, who said that he was going to come back in new iterations across time and fight him over and over again. Like he was never going to give up until he got the hero. So that's Ganondorf. He is the reincarnation, so to speak, of that, and he has the Triforce of Power. So he is evil. He's evil. A lot of people have spoken about the possibility of a rehydrated Ganon in Breath of the Wild because they showed a skeleton of him, and people were like, oh, I wonder what he would look like with meat on him and skin. And they call it rehydrated Ganon. But that's not who I'm talking about today. We're just talking about general Ganondorf, okay? He looks different in every iteration, but in all iteration, he's got lovely dark skin and red hair. Very, very beautiful mane. And he's royalty, kind of. Yes. So I'm gonna list some good things about him, and then you can list some good things about Low-Poly Hagrid. All things that I'm going to agree with, probably. Yeah. So yes, he is royalty, but he's also the only male of his kind. So that must mean he is in touch with his femininity, considering how many women that makes.
True.
Yes. So, like I said, yes, has several iterations of himself throughout time. So he must be a history buff at this point. He knows a lot about stuff. Beautiful red locks. Can ride horses, so an animal person.
Lovely.
Also transforms into a pig, so literally an animal person.
Yep.
So yeah, beat that, Low-Poly Hagrid.
Where do I start?
He's low-poly, first of all.
Okay, well, I've only gotten up the information for General Hagrid, I guess.
We can just assume that everything regular Hagrid can do, low-poly Hagrid
I would
can
assume
do.
so. I would assume so.
Yeah, but in limited FPS.
Yes. So I was pleasantly surprised at how powerful Hagrid is, and by default, how powerful Low-Poly Hagrid is. So I did discover that this surprised me. He has poison resistance.
Wow. He can eat all the chocolate he wants.
It says here on the Harry Potter fandom page, due to Hagrid's work with various magical creatures, many of which are venomous and highly likely to carry disease, it can be assumed that Hagrid's magical resistance afforded him a degree of foreign chemical resistance. They say that this can also be assumed in part due to his enormous size.
Ooh.
He loves animals too, from what I've seen. I haven't actually seen or read all of Harry Potter, so I am very outdated on the Harry Potter lore.
I don't think you need to even know any Harry Potter lore to know everything about a beautiful, gorgeous Hagrid.
Yeah, he's a great man. I think he's canonically from my county, Gloucestershire.
Oh, yes, the accent.
Yes, he's very West Country.
It is familiar now.
Because I know J.K. Rowling is from Gloucestershire, and I know that she set a lot of Harry Potter based around Gloucestershire, for example. We have a town here called Dursley. So
is that why she's so awful? I'm just kidding.
So, back onto the topic of the benefits of Hagrid. He's got superhuman strength, and apparently he has highly proficient at fighting physically.
Oh.
That's word for word from the Harry Potter fandom page.
Why haven't we never seen Hagrid in a fist fight?
I want to see it. I want to see him have a proper fist fight and just beat the shit out of someone.
Right?
That would be amazing. He can also cook. He's got extreme dexterity, apparently.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. He's a
He
craftsman.
sounds like a D&D character the further you go. Poison resistance.
Yeah.
High dexterity.
This is a man who can do everything, though. He's got craftsmanship skills. Craftsmanship? It's easier to say that way. Apparently, he's very skilled at social networking.
I don't know about that.
That's
because
what it says.
because his only friends are animals and children.
Apparently, he networks with the centaurs.
Right,
And
they're
other
people.
creatures.
They're people. Yes.
I mean, there's a few here, but I can't be bothered to read them all.
Of course.
He's also got musical skills, teaching skills, leadership skills.
My gosh, someone really has a boner for Hagrid.
They really do.
Whoever wrote that.
It's me. He's also apparently got superhuman endurance and magical resistance, so he's very powerful. Very powerful.
He just has he has no flaws.
This is the problem. How can you fight a man with no flaws?
Yeah, because the bottom line here is who would win in a fight. And yes, Ganondorf, while born from a powerful god, that god did lose to a guy who is like pint-sized. And,
is the thing.
I mean, short king.
I'm sorry, I've just read a fantastic part about Hagrid's family. He was born to Mr. Hagrid. That's all it says. I don't know.
Mr. Hagrid's my father.
And he has a half-brother called Gwarp.
Oh, so he got the royal Hagrid name, while the other guy, the dumpy guy, the brother they didn't think they were going to give him, got that name.
Gwarp, I can't even pronounce it. Grawp.
Oh, that's almost like Grope. Who would want that name?
Oh, goodness. Oh, no. We got Hagrid.
So Hagrid
good.
is Hagrid Jr., essentially.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
And
Hagrid's
then
first name
Grop,
is Rubius.
the goblin brother.
Yes.
That lives in the basement and eats worms.
That's what it sounds like. I can't read through there's so many gems in here, but it will take me an absolute eternity to go through all of them.
I guess that means, it will just take an eternity to even determine the depth and greatness of Hagrid. However, does low-poly Hagrid have the same? Is he just as flawless? Because he has some limited movement.
This is actually very true. I didn't think about that.
But however, he is an immovable object. So Ganondorf is the unstoppable force.
Yeah, I was going to
because
say
he
that.
never quits, and Hagrid is the immovable object.
It would be a battle of the ages.
So basically, maybe it would just be like in the Legend of Zelda games, where nobody ever wins. Ganondorf just keeps coming back to try and beat low-poly Hagrid, but he just can't.
It's just an eternal battle.
Oh, it's the curse all over again.
Oh.
Hagrid has the Triforce of Wisdom and Courage and Power.
Yeah, and he's poison resistant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Ganondorf can't poison him. Yeah, because he could be like, I can't win in a fight with him physically, so I gotta do the sneaky route and get an assassin and poison him. But he can't do that either.
You made a mistake, Ganondorf.
Holy shit! Yeah, he didn't know who he was up against. Yeah, he thought he could beat little Link with his little cute green tunic, and he didn't think that someone even more powerful would come along and just stand there and do nothing and still win.
That's the thing, because as powerful as I'm sure Ganondorf is, you just cannot kill low-poly Hagrid. It's impossible, so it will just go on forever.
Yeah, that's a real tragedy.
It's a draw.
Yeah, it's a draw for forever, a forever draw.
We will declare it a draw.
Yes. Well, that really mellowed out the end of this episode. A very sad tale. Well, we did some cool stuff. We did some not cool stuff.
Yep.
And hopefully the audio sounds a little cooler this time.
Hopefully.
We are only starting out, so don't yell at us. We will cry.
We're trying our best.
But yeah, if you've tried some new things, or if you're going to try some new things, tweet us, DM us, go on the gram.
Yep.
Let us know. Email us. Give it a go show pod.
Yep. Same for the Instagram.
gmail.com. Same for the Instagram. I made the Twitter. I should know this. It's Give It a Go Show. Yes.
Okay. Lovely.
Give It a Go Show. Yeah. I'm good at this. Yeah. I think you should go make some memories.
Yes, absolutely.